Johnny, are we an AHL team now? Nope, Jersey guy, we're still definitely the Nashville Predators. But you better prepare yourself for an even earlier off-season come April of 2023 than in April of 2022. And if this front office of this team is not careful, they're going to keep sending people away on waivers and have to call up people, destroying Milwaukee's chances of winning the Calder Trophy in the AHL. Preds lose 1-0 in overtime to the St. Louis Blues Monday night in St. Louis, Missouri in the Enterprise Center. Now, Preds fans, this is 26 games into the season. I am committed, as always, to giving you guys my instant or as close to instant, maybe the next morning if the game is late, reaction to every single Preds game, win or lose. But I'm at the point now where even after a win or even after a loss like this, I can't really get excited or upset because I know I pretty much accepted, like I'm sure a lot of you already are or are going to be arriving at that point very soon, that this is just a subpar team with no real chance of making the playoffs come April. Their season is going to end sooner than it did last year because they're not even going to play in the second season at this point, especially with efforts like tonight. And it wasn't an embarrassing one, so I can't really get off all my hinges and get mad. I'm going to try for this video to shoot in as close to one take as possible with very few jump cuts. Ever since Saturday, from what I saw on social media on Preds Twitter, I don't really follow Preds Facebook that much, I have seen that most of you should have known by now two major lineup decisions have affected this roster. First, Michael McCarron has entered the NHLPA Player Assistance Program for a personal issue, and we all hope he can get the help he needs for whatever that issue might be, and maybe one day will return to the ice because he has been a pleasant physical force on this Preds roster. Now to the bigger news that has all of Preds Twitter and Facebook, I assume, even though I don't dare look at that, up in a fluff, and rightfully so. It came out on Sunday that with the recent lineup changes that always happens throughout the NHL on different NHL rosters, that Eeli Tolvanen has been placed on waivers with the intent of sending him down to Milwaukee. Eeli Tolvanen, the same Eeli Tolvanen that everybody thought was the best player not in the NHL for the longest time after the Preds took him so late in the first round in 2017 after they almost won the Stanley Cup, that this guy was going to be a game changer on this Preds team, and he continues to get very little ice time. He can't get into a flow. To an extent, John Hines' system does not suit him, but hey, Preds front office, we gave John Hines an extension, so we might as well force the players to play within his immovable spaces that he creates with this offensive system that goes nowhere. So the Preds put him on waivers. Some of us were unrealistically hoping, oh, maybe he won't get claimed and he's going to get sent down to Milwaukee, with the intent, of course, that the Preds would lower his trade value trying to move him. But, of course, a talent like Eeli Tolvanen, who's only had one real chance in the NHL, is going to get a second chance. And so, just like Rem Pitlick when they lost into Minnesota, oh, look at that this morning. The Preds losing to Seattle Kraken. That's the Seattle Kraken, who are an exciting team right now in only their second season, on the verge of a playoff berth in only their second season. I don't know if any of you have looked at the upcoming schedule. The Preds have 2 games left against the Seattle Kraken at the end of March when they come into Nashville for 2 games in 3 nights. I wouldn't be surprised if Eeli Tolvanen gets the game winner in either game, or much worse and embarrassing, maybe he gets even a hat trick. He's going to get a lot of ice time in those 2 games. You just know it. And, you know, I can't go through all of the players. It's out there on Twitter, but I will give you the summation about how this Preds front office does not develop players well at the NHL level. AHL, they're fine. That's a compliment to Carl Taylor, who right now, the Admirals are leading their division. They're one of the top 4 teams in the AHL, Hopefully there's not too many more injuries of the Preds roster, or else that Admirals team is going to get depleted and then they won't even be a contention in the AHL. If you look at this Preds roster right now in the last 10 seasons or so, I'm not going to go through every detailed player, but of the forwards, not necessarily the defenseman because Roman Josi was a second round pick, but of the forwards, and we can't count Philip Forsberg because yes, he was developed by the Preds, but he was drafted by Washington. Of the Preds forwards, the highest drafted player who was drafted by the Preds, developed by the Preds, and is on this Preds roster right now is Colton Sissons. It's not Ryan Johansson. He was drafted by Columbus. It's not Matt Duchene. He was drafted by Colorado all that time ago. It is Colton Sissons. That is a shame on this Preds scouting staff and the development at the AHL level that the Preds don't have a bona fide top 6 player that they can count on. And that is why, to an extent, why they're in a tight cap situation and they're not anywhere close realistically to probably making the playoffs this season. In this game offensively, there was nothing really exciting to write home about. No fight, so nothing really got the fans out of their seats. I'm surprised at points during the first 3 periods that I wasn't falling asleep because neither team had double digits shots on goal in any single period. It was 9-7 St. Louis after the first period. It was 9-4 Nashville in the second period alone. It was 8-7 Preds in the third period. And in overtime, St. Louis outshot Nashville 4-1, and the only reason their 1 goal went in was because Jordan Kyrou's pass to Shan deflected off of Josi right to Shan, allowing UC Saros to be out of position because he misjudged where the puck was going and it went in. I said at the start of overtime that I imagined that the way these two teams were playing, that more times than not they say if you extend 3-on-3 overtime to 10 minutes, more games would get decided before the gimmick of the shootout. But in this game, I was willing to bet that even that wouldn't have been enough, and this game still would have been scoreless and should have gone to the shootout. But hey, good on St. Louis for getting their chance and ending this boring game. Very, very frustrating how this team couldn't scrounge up 1 goal amongst 3 players who make a combined $24.5 million. Congratulations to Jordan Binnington for getting what is 100th NHL career win in this game. Somebody must have talked to him because you know what would have helped the Preds probably to win this game? If Jordan Binnington had gone angry with the Preds being in his kitchen, and maybe that's what they were trying to do, but he kept his cool because maybe if the Preds had done it a little bit more and gotten him off of his game, the Preds might have won this game, but I'm glad they didn't, so they can't give themselves any confidence of making the playoffs and maybe, just maybe, get to be a lottery team and start turning this team around because this team is only going to get better once it absolutely hits almost near close to rock bottom. There was news today that soon-to-be new Preds owner Bill Haslam was at the NHL owners meeting with the coming time where he's going to continue to grow his NHL stake in the Nashville Predators and finally be full majority owner. We all look forward to that day. We all look forward to the day when the Preds have an owner who wants to win. We hope it's not like his brother with the Browns who can't consistently be a playoff contender, but hopefully Bill Haslam is not his brother Jimmy, because yes, it's been nice and dandy seeing the Preds stay in Nashville, make a profit for this group ownership, but this fan base is hungry enough. That's what a good sports town wants, is a consistent winner more than just making money, because when you're a winner you actually make more money. So the sooner the better that Bill Haslam can become majority owner of the Preds, the better. So where does that leave us, Preds fans? Well, currently in the standings the Preds are 4 points out of the final wildcard spot with 3 games in hand, which basically means they're going to have to win basically 2 of those 3 in regulation and maybe get that pitiful point in the gimmick or another shootout or overtime loss for to have any chance to get back in it. But as the Preds have 2 postponed games still to be rescheduled in 2023, they're going to be playing catch up constantly. Do they have the gas to do it? No, not really. As you see with the schedule coming up this week, they have Colorado, the defending champs, who you know on Saturday by then are going to start getting healthy soon to try and repeat as Stanley Cup champs. Not too often as a defending Stanley Cup champ completely missed the playoffs. You got Central Division leading Winnipeg Jets in Winnipeg on Thursday, and you can't really give the Preds a big chance to win that one. And yes, tomorrow night, you've got back in Bridgestone. Yay, okay, it's going to be nice to be at home. But it's back-to-back. And yes, the team you're playing, the Edmonton Oilers, are also going to be back-to-back. But they have a lot higher expectations on their team than the Preds do. And they're going to be pissed off about losing in Minnesota. And you know what? This is how confident the Preds are going to lose tomorrow. You know how confident I am they're going to lose? If the Preds somehow, I'll stake it at this. There's the outside chance that maybe the Preds can drag this into overtime and then lose, or lose in the gimmick of the shootout. If the Preds win this game tomorrow in regulation outright, I will let Jersey Guy do the entire Preds fan reaction. That's how confident I am that it won't happen. The Preds are going to lose tomorrow. What do you say? Did you just say what I think you said? Yes, you can. Ow, take it. See, Preds Nation, a little false hope now and then makes everybody happy. But in the meanwhile, we've got 50-something games left in this season. I'm going to ride it out, be with you through it all. Probably our first season of doing Preds fan reaction videos where there won't be a second season at the end of it, come some sort of miracle. And really, truly enjoy seeing what it's like to be at the rebuilding phase and rebuild, hopefully, for this team to reach redemption. So that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. As always, click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really like it. You can find my social media by clicking on a channel name. Tell all your friends about redemption. And if this team finally admits to itself pretty much this season that it wants to rebuild, hopefully by the time it's ready to be a contender again, it looks as if it's going to have the #1 goalie for this team already taken care of, either with UC Saros still being in the fold or Yaroslav Askarov. Have you guys seen the numbers he's putting up with the Admirals?